Hello, welcome to Dungeon Dwellers Podcast. I'm your host Justin. Today we're reviewing X-Men Messiah Complex for our X-Men month finale. We finally did it, guys. We finally finished X-Men month. And we're finishing off with a bang by reviewing X-Men Messiah Complex, which came out in 2007 through 2008. This graphic novel collects 13 issues, which the X-Men Messiah Complex crossover event wasn't like a series. It took place on the different X-Men series, right? And this graphic novel collects X-Men Messiah Complex one shot written by Ed Brubaker with art by Marc Silvestri. Uncanny X-Men 492 through 494, written by Ed Brubaker, art by Billy Tan. X Factor 25 through 27 by Peter David, Scot Eaton. New X-Men 44 through 46 by Craig Kyle and Chris Yost, with art by Humberto Ramos. And X-Men 205 through 207 by Mike Carey and Chris Bachalo, right? Which with covers by David Finch, right? Who you'll know from, he did like a lot of Moon Knight and Batman covers, right? Would have been nice if he did the interiors. Here's the beautiful cover. So the story for this crossover is that it's basically the conclusion to the M-Day event where Wanda Maximoff, in the last issue of House of M, used her reality warping powers to get rid of 90% of mutant powers, leaving only the X-Men and X-Men adjacent superheroes and supervillains, right, with their mutant powers, right? And since then, there hasn't been any new mutant births, right? Which mutants aren't supposed to get their powers until, like, till they're teens, except for, like, genetic throwbacks, like Jamie Madrox, right? Which was explained in X Factor, if you ever read X Factor. Yeah, so what happens is that, by the way, like, at this point in time, Cyclops is the leader of the X-Men with Emma Frost, and, like, Xavier is still around, but, like, is, like, kind of, like, in the backseat and is kind of, like, being thrown to, like, to the corner, right? Because, like, Scott Scott has issues with Professor X. So the story for this crossover is that in Cooperstown, Alaska, the Purifiers attack a small town, trying to kill every child and baby, because a new mutant is born and is super powerful, right? It's super powerful that it destroys, once it was born, it destroys Cerebra, whatever it's called in this issue, right? And it mind wrecks Professor X. So the X-Men go to investigate, and while they're there, they realize that it wasn't just the Purifiers that were there. The Marauders were there too, and there was like a battle between the Marauders and the Purifiers and something else, right? So what ends up happening is that also you have this thing called Predator X, which was made by the Weapon X program, that's bred to hunt and kill mutants, and it's on the trail of the baby, right? Which is Hope Summers, by the way, if you know who Hope Summer is. So what happens? It turns out it was Cable who found the baby, right? Who found the baby, and everybody is after him, right? There's a subplot where since they have a time machine that Forge created that monitors the different futures, and they check it to see, okay, which futures do mutants are still around, right? They since since Hope was born, there's been 2 futures, right? And they decide to recruit Jamie Madrox from X Factor to who is the multiple man to send his duplicates into both futures, right? To find out, hey, what's going on there. While that's going, when he was about to go into the future with his duplicate, Layla Miller, the girl who knows stuff, jumps in with him, right? So like, there's a subplot where Jamie Madrox and Layla Miller are in the future, right? Trying to figure out what's going on. Also, they send Richter, who lost his powers, into infiltrate the Purifiers, which his commanding officer looks like Morgan Freeman here, right? Yeah, which I thought was funny. Yeah, because this takes place in different like series. This collects different series. You got like you got inconsistent art, right? Which kind of sucks, right? So yeah, okay. So like what ends up happening is they figure out that Cable is the one who took the baby, and they Cyclops reassembles X-Force with Wolverine, Warpath, Caliban, Hespa, which I don't know how to pronounce her name. It's like, here you can see them all, right? There's Caliban, X-23, Wolverine, Warpath, and Hespa, and you got Wolfsbane, right? I think that's her name, right? Yeah, and they go after Cable. Which also, I forgot, in some of the issues, they draw Professor X to look like Patrick Stewart. Yeah. So yeah, really, sometimes you get really cool art, sometimes you get really bad generic cartoony art, like right here, right? Yeah. Which, by the way, a lot of X-Men characters die in this book, right? Also, there's like a subplot where Mystique and Gambit are part of the Marauders, and they're helping Sinister, who also wants the baby, by the way, right? And they're helping him because, you know, he promised to help Rogue, who is sick with this virus that's going to kill her. Also, there's like a subplot where the new X-Men, which are X-Men team of rookies, want revenge on the Purifiers because they killed some of their friends, right? Yeah. And also, one of the X-Men want to kill the baby, right? And I'm not going to spoil who, right? Yeah, so I really liked this story, right? The action was great. You got to see the different X-Men teams working together, which was cool. And you have this chase between, like, you have this chase around America where all these different groups, well, not that many different groups. It's like the Purifiers, the Marauders led by Sinister, and the X-Men are after Cable, who took the baby and ran, right? And we don't know his motives yet. Yeah. So I liked the book. The dialogue was good. The action was good. The art is mixed. Is a mixed bag here and there. But I really liked the story, and it was a fine conclusion of the. It was a fine conclusion to the M-Day arc that was going on for a few years at the X-Men since like House of M, right? My problem with the finale of this book is that would have been nice if you know, we had like a cool, if we had like a villain that our character struggled against. Really, there is no like big bad villain that our characters struggle against. It's just like, them fighting the Marauders again and Predator X, which is this dumb monster. So the finale could have been a bit better, but the melodrama and you don't know who to trust, right? And the reveals of who the traitor was pretty cool, right? Which was established, hero who wants to kill the baby, right? Hope, because of good reasons for him, right, or her, right? Which I'm trying not to spoil who it was, but also, like, a lot of characters die and it's pretty bloody. I'm surprised this got like a teen rating, because it probably should have got an M rating. And I got this trade back in 2011, so it's like $30 Canadian. $30 American, 35 Canadian. Nowadays, this would probably be pretty pricey, but if you could get it for a good price, I would recommend it. I'm giving it a 7.5 out of 10. One problem I have with this book, and how they treated the whole Layla Miller and Jamie Madrox thing was a bit creepy. Because, Layla Miller, they established that Layla Miller is supposed to one day marry Jamie Madrox, and she's still a little kid, she's still like a kid in this book, and how they treated their like relationship, which he doesn't have a romantic interest in her, but she has a romantic interest in him, and like they're stuck there's one point in the book where they're at an internment camp in the future, right? And like everybody calls Layla Jamie's girlfriend, right? So I'll try to show you some of the art. Yeah. Also, they get. Oh man, I didn't want to show that. They give both of them the tattoo, the M tattoo, which looks pretty cool. Yeah, here you can see part of the art. There you see the M tattoo, which is like a techno-organic virus. This did not make a lot of sense to me, because once Jamie Madrox's duplicate gets killed, the info he got went straight to Jamie Madrox's brain, but he also got the tattoo that his duplicate got in the future. Doesn't really make a lot of sense that he would have it too, especially since usually when the duplicates get killed, it doesn't really harm the Prime, which was established in lots of comics, right? But other than that, like, they did it because they wanted to give Jamie that cool M tattoo that, Bishop has, right? But other than that, I enjoyed this book, and I would recommend it for X-Men fans and Ed Brubaker fans as well, guys. So that's it for this comic review, guys. I'm going to be uploading, a couple, of reviews. Our next comic review is going to be, is probably going to be this Marvel Voices book I got for free last time I was at the comic book store. Kevin wanted a review of this, so blame him.